Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast. This is the show that dives into the big question, what's in it for me, for both the business and its customers? On each episode, we sit down with a business owner or leader to uncover their why, their values, and the stories that drive them to grow their business. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is my friend Brine Beresford with Mobile Auto RX. How you doing, Brine?
Good. How are you, sir?
Very, very good. Glad to see you here. It's this conversation is long overdue.
Yes, it is.
Brine, I've been talking for a while about coming in here and being on the podcast together.
Yep.
So, Brine, I'm curious to know what does Mobile Auto RX do? What do you do there? And talk about what sets you apart.
We're a mobile oil changing service. We come to you in your location. We basically do everything like a Jiffy Lube or something like that. And the difference is we are a concierge service, you might say, because we come to you. So while you're sitting here having your podcast, I could be out in the parking lot changing your oil on your car right now.
Terrific. And that's quite a convenience.
Yes, it is.
How long have you been doing this?
So I started the company with an older name 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We found that the name wasn't resonating with folks.
Right.
And then we came up with Mobile Auto RX, which is more or less what we're trying to promote the fact that, the doctor's in, right?
Yeah.
So when we do that, we're looking at later on franchising the business. That's the main reason for the name change.
Got you. And let's go through the services you offer and in the different ways you do.
Sure. Mobile oil changes, obviously. I do starters. I do brakes. I do serpentine belts. I do tune-ups. I stay away from things like auto AC, and some of the bigger things but I do partner with a shop that I can send you to do some of those items. I do more of the stuff that you can do real quick in your driveway.
You could be down there working on one of my vehicles in a business situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. I find that sometimes that freaks people out a little bit because you never know what your company or where you're at's going to feel about it. But most of the time, I'm in and out before anybody even knows. Sometimes I'm even there. Yeah. Unless it's something a little bit longer. But yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's one of those things. What I'm finding is that if you're a stay-at-home person and you don't want to get the kids all round up to go out to go get the car fixed, I can show up, fix the car. You can stay there and you have lunch with your kids and enjoy your day and be done. Yeah. And not have to worry about your Saturday morning being ruined. Right. So.
And as they get to know you, they know exactly who's working on their car.
Right, exactly.
And where.
Right.
They know where their car is and they're not just, pulling into some Jiffy Lube, or not to use a competitor's name per se,
right.
but there's just a chain and a bunch of random people.
Right,
You're
exactly.
actually working with you or one of your technicians.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to look at it like this, that those chains, they have their advantages, don't get me wrong. But one thing that you don't see and don't realize is that you drove there. You may or not be the first person in line. And an hour and a half later, now you're finally getting taken care of and then you're heading back to the house, right? Whereas in that hour and a half, you could have been doing something else and I already have your car done and you're not even worrying about it. Toss me the keys and give them back to you when I'm done.
Are there cars you cannot work or should not work on?
I don't work on high-end luxury cars.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's a service that that I can provide. Their people are coming to pick those cars up, taking them back to the dealership, and then they're going back out.
And they're so highly specialized.
Right. It's very specialized. And at the end of the day, I don't want to hinder my business based on that because some of those oil changes can take longer than expected. But basically my bread and butter is just everyday mom and pop, driving your normal car. I can do Porsches, I can do Audis, I can do BMWs. I can still do Toyotas. I can still do Fords and all of them. It's just that some of those, it's just best that I leave that up to the dealerships to take care of, or the more specialized guys to take care of them.
Do you service businesses?
Yes, fleets. So usually my sweet spot's about 5 to 10 cars.
Okay.
So I can get you on a rotation. That morning time, get there 7:30 in the morning. Your guys are loading your plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, loading their trucks up for the day. I get there, change the oil in their car, 3 or 4 of those cars, and then they're out on the day. That allows these businesses to get an extra service in that day. And also their guys are not sitting in a lube change place waiting for something to happen.
Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this. Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles. What's your favorite part about what you do?
You know what? People.
Yeah.
I mean, my old business name, or my true business name that I still do, is because I like to work on older cars. I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s. I love my 80s cars. I love my 90s cars. And Psyche Motorworks was what we started originally with, right? And the whole point to that was, my line was, I wanted to bring back the story of the car. Well, those people that I deal with have stories too. And it's interesting to find out sometimes what their story actually is, you know? And there are times that they just toss me the keys and go back inside. And there's times they sit out there and they'll ask me questions about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And sometimes it feels great when they're questioning, because that means that they're actually interested in what's going on, or they're curious about what's going on, you know?
That's terrific. What's your favorite car to work on?
If you were to poke me,
is that like picking your children, basically? Which is my favorite?
If you were to
child?
poke me, I'd bleed blue. I'd bleed Ford blue. So
Really?
I'm a Ford guy. Yeah,
Okay.
True and true. So the interesting story is the new mobile Auto RX, and the caricature that I have drawn on there is actually a photo from my great grandfather. He was a Ford implement dealer in Roseville, Illinois, and his nickname was Doc, for Doc of Motors, because everyone would bring their cars for his mechanics to work on them, or they would work on their tractors. So he got the name of Doc. So when the name came about, it all of a sudden was just kind of like a bulb gone on. And I had a guy make a character of my grandfather, and it's just been there since. And I like the fact that I'm emulating my great grandfather on something that he loved and I love too.
That's terrific. So yeah, definitely Fords, trucks, cars, you name it.
Name it. Yep. Mustang's probably one of my best ones.
Okay, Ford Mustangs. Is there a everyday car that is a challenge? I mean, are there cars that are more difficult than others, and why?
Not really. I mean, there are some that are more challenging, because some of these newer cars, they have issues with they've had canisters or something like that. The problem is they get so many miles on them, they get really brittle, and they can break on me. So sometimes it's best to let the client know that, hey, listen, this is one of those cars that has this canister on there. I can charge you the $50 or $75 the dealership would charge you for a new plastic one, or we can go metal, which is a lot less expensive, and change it out where we never have this problem again. I have had one before where it was what I thought was going to be a routine oil change, and it ended up being a 3-hour oil change, because I had to wait for the service company that services my supplies to bring me the cap that I needed.
Wow.
To install. Yeah. So there have been some difficult ones, but no, for the most part, the nice thing about what I do and how my job is that if your car actually has the oil filter on the top, I don't even have to get underneath the car.
Yeah.
I can suck it out through the dipstick tube,
Yep.
change the oil filter on the top, never even get underneath the car.
Is that common? Is it like 50-50 on top or bottom?
It's more or less about 30 to 40% maybe on the top. It depends on the manufacturer.
Gotcha.
A lot of them, like Subarus, Dodges, have them. Jeeps do them because they're part of the Dodge family. And then some of the Fords have them too.
Yeah. What are some of the myths about changing your oil that people that propagate? They're out there. People are sharing them, and you know them.
Oh,
yeah, which is rough.
Biggest myth is it's never a bad idea to change your oil early.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, it's never a bad idea. People always tell you go 10,000 miles. Well, these oils are great for 10,000 miles and can handle it. However, if you're getting a 10,000 mile oil change and you're getting a paper filter with it, the paper filter is only good for about 3,000 to 4,000 miles, maybe 5 tops.
Yeah, so it's
you
not
go the
the
full
oil.
10,000 miles, you're lucky that the car has a bypass and it's going right past the filter. So for the last maybe 2 or 3,000 miles of your car, you're possibly not getting any filtration of that oil.
So at least change the filter more often.
Change the oil.
Change the oil.
Because here's the deal. Engines and transmissions are both use fluid, right? The transmission is a sealed system that once it's closed up, nothing gets in there. You can get water and you get some other stuff in there, but it's not like you do when you're driving. You got a motor that's taking in gas. It's got air coming into it. It's got all of this stuff going on. And what happens is that's what breaks down the oil because all those contaminants get in there. And then if you're not filtering that out, all that contaminants going through your motor. And then the longer you have between oil changes, motor oil has a tendency to start what they call sludging up or getting thick, and the longer you do, that has a bad outcome on motors because you're clogging up the pores that are supposed to be going back to the oil pan and doing things like that. So it's never a bad idea to change your oil early. It's always a bad idea to change your oil late.
Right. What's the mile interval that you would recommend for just about any car?
5 to 7,500.
Okay. Don't go past that.
I would say you could go to 10, but you're pushing it, right? Dealerships will tell you 10,000 miles. I mean, these new cars, come back for a oil change every 10,000 miles. Well, I'm old school. I mean, 3,000 miles is what I used to do because conventional oil never lasted long enough to do it with. Or in my drag racing days, people would always say, my father-in-law would always tell me, I'll take the motor oil you're taking out of your car and put it in mine because how often you're changing it, right? It was just funny how you would say that to me. But when you're in drag racing, you know that the oil is getting thinner by the fact that the oil pressure is starting to drop on you as you're going down because it's getting thinner. The newer oil has a thicker viscosity to it. So you know that it's time to change by what your oil pressures are going down the track.
Tell me about the concept of burning oil. Are there different vehicles that do more of that, like that just lose?
The fancy ones, I'm not going to name any names, but there are some literature out there and technical bulletins from the dealerships that say, yes, it's normal for a car to burn oil, and it will. I mean, you're basically taking a product and you've got a piston ring coming up and down, a piston coming up. It's carrying that oil up with it. Well, it's not cleaning it all off as it comes back down. If it's burning it, that's out the back pipe, then you've got a problem with something else. But generally oil it's probably going to get maybe out of a 10,000 mile oil change or 7.5, you might get 3/4 to a quart of oil. That's difference. Some of these cars that are about 4 to 5 quarts, that's a little risky, but some of these bigger cars, I mean, I've heard of technical bulletins saying that, the way they eliminate the fact that you're having oil burn in some cars is get a longer dipstick.
How about that? So you can find the oil. Yeah.
So when it's no longer visible on the dipstick tube,
Then
you still have, we're talking automobiles that have 8, 10 quarts in them too.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that you're not in jeopardy of problem. As long as you've got oil filtration through there, you're fine.
How often would you recommend just to check the dipstick?
I would check the dipstick at least once a month.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I have heard rumors that there's some Mercedes out there that don't even have a dipstick with them.
How about that? Yeah.
They actually have. It's a newer one. It was an RV, actually. I was talking to a young man about it. It's an RV, and it didn't have a dipstick. It actually has a gauge on the dashboard that tells you what the level of oil is, and that's, to me, is pretty cool because then you never have to worry about not checking it.
Right.
Yet, but we're also talking about $100,000 car, not a normal car you'd be driving at $30,000-$40,000, right?
You're paying for the convenience.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's interesting. So, Brine, what's the best way for them to reach out and get on your schedule?
To get on my schedule, you can call me. 430-295-6795 is my phone number. You can text me there as well. And also at Doc at Mobile Auto RX. And I can get you on the schedule that way. I'm working towards now that as I'm getting a little bit bigger and more fancier stuff going on, I'm having a CRM that I can actually send you to, and you can go on and schedule yourself.
That's terrific. And what's the typical, I'd say, wait time? Let's say, Brine, I need my car worked on. What's realistic? Is it next week, next month? Or what's your rotation?
Could be very next day.
Okay, good.
I mean, just if I have an opening.
If you're available.
And I'm in the area.
Yeah.
Usually I would say about a week.
Okay.
And most people, even though I'm talking about, don't go over mileage, a week of driving is not that difference between what you're doing.
Service area. Is it DFW? What's your?
I'm in the Dallas market on the McKinney area.
Okay.
So if you take McKinney as a centralized location and go a 30-minute circle from there, that's generally where I'm at.
That's perfect. That's wonderful. Parting thoughts for someone who's curious, and it typically just takes their car, to the normal, tell me what you would say to them about embarking on using your services.
Well, sometimes it's the personal situation you're
Yeah.
going to get, right? You pull into one of those sites and you've got four guys that you're looking at. You're hoping they're doing everything correctly. You're hoping they're doing this, they're doing that. And then the other thing is that some of those are, and I will say this in the best way I know how, is that oil changes are a loss leader for most companies. And their job is to upsell. So because of that, it makes it a very pressured situation for certain people when they just go in for an oil change.
Yep. Having been having done that, I know that out of nowhere, your air filter is suddenly the dirtiest thing in the world. Even though when I look at it, it's like, I think I could breathe through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But somehow it's and I know they make a terrific markup on those as well,
Right.
Because you can buy those yourself. So I see your point to that. So that's great.
They make it rather difficult to not upsell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Brine, thanks for coming in and be on the show. I appreciate what you do and clearly the passion you have for doing a good job, and taking care of people and being a people person is the main part of your business. The cars are secondary. It's taking care of people first.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming and being on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.